Hi readers, Lee here. Welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads, and welcome to Book Talk Tuesday. Recently, Victoria from Australia, I think, asked me when I was going to do another Women in War. Back up a little bit, at the beginning of this year I had a whole Women in War series planned, but I got a little derailed because I DNF'd 2 books back to back that were just not great reading, and it kind of made me realize I needed to sit back and think about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. That said, I talk about this in my weekend books, which I'll try to remember to put a link in down below, except no, because I haven't even recorded that yet. So anyway, if you look at what I will post on Monday, this past Monday, it will be my weekend books, and I talk about the next book that I'm going to do on Women in War. But today I thought I'd talk about some other books that I have that I plan to read at least one of closer to Veterans Day, and I may feature one of them in a Women in War post. However, my next Women in War is in the works. It's my next nonfiction book, so it'll take a minute. So, I picked up these recommended by some book that I read about women in war. I do not remember. I think maybe I even just did a search. But we'll start with the lightest of those. And this is a memoir called War Virgin, My Journey of Repression, Temptation, and Liberation. Again, it's a coming-of-age memoir that chronicles her journey through all that I just said. And it's really less about, to my knowledge, the point is the memoir and the coming of age. On March 21st, 2003, Army Lieutenant and West Point graduate Laura Westley liberated Iraq. The Army prohibited using the word invasion, with the full intention of keeping her virginity securely intact. For 24 years, she had obeyed the strict teachings of evangelical Christianity and kept her legs closed, vowing to preserve her purity for her future husband. Being at war, however, made her realizing that adhering to strict religious principles perhaps wasn't worth it. Not when bombs, RPGs, and gunfire constantly threatened to cut your life short. From what she has made this into a one-act play and a musical comedy show, also titled War Virgin. And this, from what I understand, is a rather lighthearted view of her experiences, but it also touches on suicide, depression, post-traumatic stress. I look forward to reading this. Every woman has a different experience at war. I look forward to reading about Laura's coming of age. Next up, Love My Rifle More Than You, Young and Female in the U.S. Army. This is by Kayla Williams. Irreverent, vulnerable, I'm having trouble talking today, angry and humane, Kayla Williams describes what it's like for a young woman to be surrounded by an ocean of testosterone, respected for her skills and qualifications, but treated variously as a soldier, sister, a mother, a bitch, and a slut. Through it all, the violence, boredom, and fear, as well as the lighthearted moments of humor, camaraderie, and flirtation, Williams brings home with intensity and empathy what it is like for a woman soldier to serve her country today. This I will see what it is like. I did not read any reviews of this. She addresses the Queen for a Year thing, and that was a thing. But I'll talk more about it when I read it. Again, at least one of these I'm going to read closer to Veterans Day, because this year I'm going to feature female veterans in my Veterans Day post. I didn't have one last year because it wasn't on YouTube last year. The next 2 books that I want to talk about are, not that these books aren't serious, they just seem a little bit lighter because they talk about sex, I guess. But the next ones seem more somber, and nothing is wrong with either of those. But these give me more of a mind of Kristin Hanna's Homefront, which is about a woman guardsman who ends up deploying to Iraq, and her husband and children have to stay back. And I really like this book. I love Kristin Hanna, but the husband was a dick, and I did not like him. I like the book. I like it when an author can make a dislikable character, because I really freaking hated him. And this book is really, it felt like very briefly about the woman's experience at war, and more about how it affected the family behind, and I think that was the purpose. But these books focus on the woman at war. The first one is Kimberly's Flight. These books also focus on the woman at war. Kimberly's Flight, the story of Captain Kimberly Hampton, America's first woman combat pilot, killed in battle. Whew, need some glasses on for this. September 2003, Al-Taqaddam, a formerly abandoned airfield west of Fallujah in central Iraq, U.S. Army Captain Kimberly N. Hampton was living her dream, flying armed helicopters in combat and commanding D Troop, 1st Squadron, 17th Cavalry, the Armed Reconnaissance Aviation Squadron of the 82nd Airborne Division, all the way. An all-American girl from a small southern mill town, Kimberly was a top student, student body president, ROTC battalion commander, should be a cadet battalion commander, and highly ranked college tennis player. In 1998, she was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army. Then, driven by determination and ambition, Kimberly rapidly rose through the ranks in the almost all-male bastion of military aviation to command a combat aviation troop. On January 2nd, 2004, Captain Hampton was flying an OH-58 Delta Kiowa Warrior helicopter above Fallujah, Iraq, in support of a raid on an illicit weapons marketplace in the city, searching the rooftops for an elusive sniper. A little past noon, her helicopter was racked by an explosion. A heat-seeking surface-to-air missile had gone into the exhaust and knocked off the helicopter's tail boom. The helicopter crashed, killing Kimberly. So this is the story of her life and her legacy. It's got pictures in it. Again, this one may be one that I feature on Women in War, or maybe I'll save it for next Memorial Day. We will see what I do about that. The next one is a woman who is still alive, and that is Shoot Like a Girl, one woman's dramatic fight in Afghanistan and on the home front, by Mary Jennings Hegar. I forgot, Kimberly's Flight was by Anna Simon and Ann Hampton. But let's get back to Shoot Like a Girl. On July 29th, 2009, Major Mary Jennings Hegar was shot down while on a medevac mission in Afghanistan. Despite being wounded, she fought the enemy and saved the lives of her crew and their patients. But soon she would face a new battle, to give women who serve on the front lines the credit they deserve. After being commissioned into the U.S. Air Force, MJ Hegar was selected for pilot training by the Air National Guard, finished top of her class, and then served 3 tours in Afghanistan, culminating in a harrowing rescue attempt that would earn MJ the Purple Heart and the Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor device. But it was on American soil that Hegar would embark on her greatest challenge, to eliminate the ground combat exclusion policy, which kept women from officially serving in combat roles despite their long-standing record of doing so with honor. I really look forward to reading this. There are pictures in here. This is going to go up there. This might get read before Veterans Day. I appreciate her struggles. And that's on my nonfiction side. I don't have it here. I've been reading The Woman They Could Not Silence. And this is about a woman in the 1800s, around the time of the Civil War. So a little bit pre and then during. She was institutionalized in an insane asylum by her husband because she didn't believe the same things he did, and she was outspoken, and at that time men could do that. And as I was reading that, I couldn't help but stop and think everything that the women before us have sacrificed and fought for so that we could be where we are today. And that fight still continues. I'm also think that that's going to tie into my next nonfiction, which I will do a Women in War on, but it is somewhere. But it also talks about women coming home from Vietnam. So, anywho, that is it. This is a little short. I've been a little scattered. I had to mow the lawn this morning, and then the lawnmower crapped out at the very last bit, so I'm going to have to go at it again within the next week. So, little distracted. Probably heat, Anywho, that's it for Women in War and Book Talk Tuesday. If you have any other books about women in war that you'd like to recommend, please let me know down in the comments. Also, I have now a bookshop.org page, and I will put links to each of these books on the video. Bookshop.org, if you don't know, when you buy from there, they give money to some of the proceeds to your local booksellers. I don't have any in my immediate town that's linked to that bookshop. I do have one up in Pittsburgh, and so if I am able to choose, I'll choose to get proceeds. But you can do for any bookstore that you want, I believe. So again, that is all for me. Sorry, so scattered. I'm any day where I have to start the day mowing, not a great day. Happy reading!